I don't know about you guys, but I'm intrigued. Where she stumbles upon a curious washing machine. I said washing machine, didn't I? It's a wishing machine. Why does this sound so good? I love the 125 tips to hook a husband. It sounds iconic. Literally iconic. Hello and welcome back to this new video of mine, which is a very exciting one because we're gonna talk about all the new releases that are coming out in November. I'm actually really excited, and in the meantime I'm gonna do my makeup because I want to pull an attempt at the Cinnamon Girl makeup. I saw it recently, I think on YouTube somewhere. I saw the search term and I was like, it's interesting, I wanna try that. So I have my laptop over there because I'm gonna look up the different books. It's gonna be pretty romance heavy and a little bit of fantasy. It's the main genres I like to read, but also I feel like there was not a lot of stuff coming out that was in different genres that sparked my interest. I'm not gonna talk about a lot of continuation of series. I don't want to spoiler anyone, not myself, not you guys. Towards the end I'm just gonna name you the titles of books that are gonna come out as continuation of series. And let's dive right into it, I would say. Oh, I just brushed my teeth. Oh, that was not a good idea. Oh. Cinnamon Girl makeup is apparently brown eyeshadow here in the crease, then you pull a little soft cut crease and a winged eyeliner. So that's what I'm gonna do, and everything is gonna be brown and cinnamony. I already did my skincare just so you guys know, but I would say let's dive right into it and let's start with the books, shall we? Because that's why we're all here, I guess. The first book I want to talk to you about is Check and Mate by Ellie Hazelwood. Actually comes out on the 7th of November, I believe. Yeah. And it's her first young adult book. She already wrote a few adult romances like Love Theoretically and what was the other one? Love Hypothesis and stuff. And they were going viral, like everyone loved them. I have to say I didn't read them yet, but I'm really curious about her writing style in general. And now she's coming out with a book about chess. And I think it's pretty interesting, actually. I'm gonna read you the plot because I think that's the best way to do this right now, so that I don't get anything wrong, because I mean, I cannot summarize something that I haven't read yet. It's just not how it works. Mallory Greenleaf, what a weird name, but okay, is done with chess. Every move counts nowadays. After the sport led to the destruction of her family 4 years earlier, Mallory's focus is on her mom, her sister, and the dead-end job that keeps the lights on. That is, until she begrudgingly agrees to play in one last charity tournament and inadvertently, so many long words, wipes the board with notorious king killer Nolan Sawyer, current world champion and reigning bad boy of chess. Sorry, but the title Reigning Bad Boy of Chess does not give me any bad boy vibes, just saying, but okay. Nolan's loss to an unknown rookie shocks everyone. What's even more confusing, his desire to cross pawns again. What kind of gambit is Nolan playing? I wanna know. The smart move would be to walk away, resign, game over. But Mallory's victory opens the door to sorely needed cash prizes, and despite everything, she can't help feeling drawn to the enigmatic strategist. As she rockets up the ranks, Mallory struggles to keep her family safely separated from the game that wrecked it in the first place. And as her love for the sport she so desperately wanted to hate begins to rekindle, Mallory quickly realizes that the games aren't only on the board. The spotlight is brighter than she imagined, and the competition can be fierce. Fiercely attractive. And intelligent and infuriating. It just sounds so good. It sounds really funny. I saw it the first time on Hayley Pham's channel. She was reading it and she gave it, I think, 4 stars or something, so it wasn't bad. Definitely not. I feel like Ellie Hazelwood books cannot be bad. As I said, I haven't read it yet, but I just feel like they're always high in ranking for some reason. And also, I'm just really curious about obviously reading her book, but this year I also got into chess. So reading a book about chess is just so intriguing to me. I have to say I actually pre-ordered the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition because I was just so excited. Please let me know if you've read any of Ellie Hazelwood's books and if they're good, if you enjoyed them, and if you're planning on reading this one as well, because maybe we can read it together. It would be fun, right? The next one is also a romance book, Love Redesigned. It's the first one of the Lakefront Billionaire series, and it's by Lauren Asher, and it also comes out on November 7th. By the way, I feel like a lot of books come out on November 7th. It was really confusing to me that almost every book is coming out on the 7th. So if you want to go to Barnes & Noble, that's definitely a day I would recommend you to go. Lakefront Billionaires already gives me all the vibes. I mean, if you call a series like this, I feel like it's gonna be great already. So we have 2 characters. We have Julian and Dahlia, and I think it's probably from both their perspectives. At least that's what the summary was from. Julian's line first is, "If I ever caught on fire, Dahlia Munoz." Now they're coming with the Spanish names, I swear. It's making it more difficult by the minute for me with all these names. Munoz, Dahlia, whatever, would fan the flames with a smile. So when she returns to Lake Wisteria, I fully intend to avoid the interior designer, at least until my meddling mother exploits my savior complex. The faster I help Dahlia find her creative spark, the sooner she will leave town. But while I was busy getting rid of Dahlia, I overlooked one potential issue. What happens if I want her to stay? Sounds already very cute. And now we have her perspective. It says, people say the devil has many faces, but I know only one. Already an iconic line, already love it. Julian Lopez, my childhood rival and family frenemy. I vowed to steer clear of him while recovering from my broken engagement. But then the billionaire makes an irresistible offer. Renovate a historic house together and triple our profits. Our temporary truce becomes compromised as we face years' worth of denied attraction and mixed emotions. Giving into our desire is inevitable, but falling in love, that isn't part of the plan. It's a steamy small-town romance about two family friends turned childhood rivals. It gives so many different tropes. I mean, it's not only enemies to lovers, it's also childhood friends, and it's billionaire type of series and small-town romance. It just sounds so good. I mean, it just has everything that I am interested in. Just by the looks of it, it sounds very promising. I don't know about you guys, but I'm intrigued. The next book, also coming out on the 7th, of course, what else, is Iron Flame by Rebecca Yards. Is that actually her name? Imagine. Yarrows. Oh my god. I mean, I said I wouldn't do continuations, but the thing is, this is Iron Flame. Almost everyone on this earth, aside from me, has read Fourth Wing at this point, so I'm not gonna give you a summary of Iron Flame, of course, because I mean, I haven't even read Fourth Wing yet, so that would be a bit stupid. But I'm also planning on reading Fourth Wing either this month or next month, because I think that would just be very fitting if the second book comes out this month, right? It would only make sense to read it soon. I'm really gonna do my eyeliner and then I'm gonna tell you more about the trope, because I cannot do both. I feel like they're definitely sisters and not twins, but it's fine. We're just gonna deal with that now. The plot. Let's talk about it. 20-year-old Violet Sorrengail was supposed to enter the Scribe Quadrant, living a quiet life among books and history. Sounds lovely. Now the commanding general, also known as her tough as Talen's mother, has ordered Violet to join the hundreds of candidates striving to become the elite of Navarre. I'm telling you, names help. Dragon riders. But when you're smaller than everyone else and your body is brittle, death is only a heartbeat away. Because dragons don't bond to fragile humans, they incinerate them. With fewer dragons willing to bond than Saidits, most would kill Violet to better their own chances of success. The rest would kill her just for being her mother's daughter. Like Saidan Ryerson, the most powerful and ruthless ringleader in the Riders Quadrant. She will need every edge her wits can give her just to see the next sunrise. Yet with every day that passes, the war outside grows more deadly. The kingdom's protective wards are failing, and the death toll continues to rise. Even worse, Violet begins to suspect leadership is hiding a terrible secret. Friends, enemies, lovers. Everyone at Basgayev War College has an agenda, because once you enter, there are only two ways out: graduate or die. I understand why people are so intrigued, and I understand why it's just such a big hype, because it just sounds very interesting. As I said, I cannot tell you anything about it, so I haven't read it yet, but maybe I'm gonna read it this month, and then I know, and then we can just talk about it finally. But yeah, just so you know, the second part is coming out. For everyone who loved the first one, there you go, on the 7th. The next book I want to talk to you about is Betting on You by Lynn Painter. It comes out on November 23rd, finally a different day than the 7th. And it's a young adult book. It just sounds very cute. It sounded very fun, so I was like, okay, I can put it in this video, I guess, and we can just talk about it. Also, I want to know, what are you looking forward to? What can you not wait to finally come out and to finally read? Let me know, or if you already pre-ordered some, because as I said, I already pre-ordered Check and Made. I was just too curious. So that's gonna be my first Ellie Hazelwood book, but what's gonna be your book this month that you definitely want to read? Back to Betting on You. When 17-year-old Bailey starts a new job at a hotel water park, she's less than thrilled to see an old acquaintance is one of her co-workers. Uh-oh. See? Already sounds entertaining. Bailey met Charlie a year ago on the long flight to Omaha, where she moved after her parents' divorce. A bit too much concealer. Okay. Charlie's cynicism didn't mix well with Bailey's carefully well-behaved temperament, and his endless commentary was the irritating cherry on top of an already emotionally fraught trip. Now, Bailey and Charlie are still polar opposites, but instead of everything about him rubbing Bailey the wrong way, she starts to look forward to hanging out and gossiping about the water park guests and their co-workers, particularly two who keep flirting with each other. Bailey and Charlie make a bet on whether or not the cozy pair will actually get together. Charlie insists that members of the opposite sex can't just be friends, and Bailey's determined to prove him wrong. This part reminds me of When Harry Met Sally. I don't know. I mean, it's a water park, but still. Bailey and Charlie keep close track of the romantic progress of others while Charlie works to deflect the growing feelings he's developed for Bailey. Terrified to lose her if his crush becomes known, what doesn't help his agenda is Bailey and Charlie fake dating in order to disrupt the annoying pleasantries between Bailey's mom and her mom's new boyfriend. Soon, what Charlie was hoping to avoid becomes a reality as Bailey starts to see him as not only a friend she can rely on in the midst of family drama, but someone who makes her hands shake and heart race. But Charlie has a secret. Okay. A secret that involves Bailey and another bet Charlie may have made. Can the two make a real go of things, or has Charlie's secret doomed them before they could start? I expect a lot of good banter from this book. I feel like it's gonna be a bit heartbreaking too. The fact that he made another bet already pisses me off. It's obviously young adult. It's not gonna be a lot of spice in there, I presume. I mean, it would surprise me if there would be. Yeah, it just sounds cute, but I feel like that might be a better book for a summer read since it's playing in a water park. Next up, we have a fantasy book coming out, and it's Hunt on Dark Waters. It's actually the first one of the Crimson Sail series. Haven't heard of that one yet, so I put it in here. Maybe you guys have heard of it before. And it's by Katie Robert, and it also comes out on November 7th. It's romantasy. I already said it's fantasy, but it's also a bit of romance in there apparently. It also says that it's a new sexy fantasy romance series, so it's definitely not for 15-year-olds or 14-year-olds, I presume. It says, Evelyn is a witch with a perfect storm of impulses, terrible taste in bad partners, sticky fingers, and a lust for danger. After she steals from her vampire ex and falls through a portal to another realm, she's fished out of the waters by a band of seafarers and their telekinetic captain. She's immediately given a choice, join their group or die. Pretty obvious what she's gonna choose, I presume. Bowen has no memory of his life before he became one of the, oh, that's a difficult word, Okay, I did not read that far, but this already intimidates me. I'm gonna put it on the screen. I don't know how to pronounce this. Help. He and his pirate crew are bound by vow to patrol through Threshold, the magical sea in between realms, keeping the portals to other worlds safe. When he rescues Evelyn, he doesn't expect to be attracted to the unflappably brassy pickpocket. The longer he spends in her presence, the more he begins to question if his heart is the next thing she will steal. But as tension heats up between Bowen and Evelyn, danger escalates as well. Because Evelyn has no intention of keeping her vows to the... that word again. And if she betrays the crew, both she and Bowen will pay the ultimate price. Let me know what you think of this. I feel like that just sounds very, very interesting, very intriguing. The only thing that's stopping me right now is really that weird word that I don't know how to pronounce and I wish I would know. I don't know how much I can read this without being stopped in my reading flow, you know? And I feel like it's gonna happen a lot of times then. And I don't know if I'm ready for that, to be honest. I'm always down for a good romantasy. I'm currently reading a lot of fantasy again. I think especially with the winter coming up. Next month there are gonna be a lot of Christmas books coming out, I guess. I haven't checked yet, but I'm just looking forward to talking about a few Christmas books. I'm really in the Christmas vibe already. I know it's still October the time I'm filming this, not the time it comes out, but November just started technically, so I shouldn't be so much in the Christmas mood. But I am. And I actually love fall, so I don't really understand what's going on right now. The next book is called Do Your Worst by Rosie Danan. It is a rom-com, but it has a hint of fantasy. It kind of gives me fall vibes as well, but in a different manner. It kind of gives me like The Ex-Hex and My Roommate is a Vampire, those type of books, you know? It is coming out on November 14th, which also luckily not the 7th this time. The summary just sounded very funny. It says sparks fly when an occult expert and a disgraced archaeologists become enemies with benefits in the steamy romance. I mean, this doesn't sound a lot like fantasy, but like, wait a second, okay? Riley Rhodes finally has the chance to turn her family's knack for the supernatural into a legitimate business when she's hired to break the curse on an infamous Scottish castle. That sounds fantasy to me, if it's actually a spell. Used to working alone in her alienating occupation, she's pleasantly surprised to meet a handsome stranger upon arrival, until he tries to get her fired. Fresh off a professional scandal, Clark Edgware, the name, can't allow a self-proclaimed curse breaker to threaten his last chance for redemption. After he fails to get Riley kicked off his Surveyside, he vows to avoid her. Unfortunately for him, she vows to get even. Riley expects the curse to do her dirty work by driving Clark away, but instead they keep finding themselves in close proximity. Too close. Turns out the only thing they do better than fight is fool around. If they're not careful by the end of all of this, more than the castle will end up in ruins. You cannot convince me that this is not going to be a rom-com. And maybe there's actually a spell. Who knows? I mean, that's why I said it gives a hint of fantasy. It could be that there's going to be a spell, but we don't know. Maybe the author won't even elaborate too much on it, but it sounds cute. but it's not on top of my list for this month, I gotta say. Also coming out on the 14th, we have Artifacts of an Ex, and it's by Jennifer Chen. I think Chen, yeah. And it's a romance book, again. A lot of romance. I told you before already. You knew you signed up for that. So when Chloe Chang gets dumped via USPS after moving across the country from New York City to LA, her first instinct is to throw her box of memories in the garbage. Instead, she starts buying other teenagers' breakup boxes to create an art exhibit. Artifacts. Opening night is going great until she spots Daniel Kwok illicitly filming his best friend's reaction to his ex's box. When she tries to stop him, an intense discussion ends up launching a creative partnership and friendship, and a major crush for Chloe. There's just one problem. Daniel is dead set on not being another rebound. 5 times he's been the guy who makes the girls he's dating realize they want to get back with their ex. And he refuses for there to be a 6th. She insists she's over her ex, but when he shows up unexpectedly with his new girlfriend, it turns out Daniel was right. She isn't ready for a new relationship. She throws herself into making Artifacts successful, but flashy influencers threaten her original vision of the exhibit. To create the exhibit she's always wanted, Chloe needs to go back to basics, learn to work with artists in a more collaborative way, and discover what love can be. Only then will she convince Daniel she's truly ready for everything they could be to one another. This is very interesting to me because it brushes upon the topic of building her own business. She's moving, she's building her new life, but then she's also still stuck on her past. But actually she's monetizing her past, so that's a good thing. Good for her. You go, girl. And I feel kind of sorry for him already. Like, I feel like he's just gonna be a very good guy. That's all speculation, of course, but I feel like Daniel is gonna be a very good book boyfriend. I feel like he's just gonna be supportive and cute and gonna love her through all of this. So it just sounds like a good romance that might leave you with good positive feelings and also make you think about a few things that you might have experienced from your past. That's what I appreciate in romance books, if they have a certain depth to them and not only brush upon the feelings for one another, but also just talk about a few other things in life, because that's just how life goes, right? Like, things are coming up, your past is coming up, all these different things. And I feel like this book, from what I've read so far, is really gonna portray the different stages a relationship can go through, even if you're not together yet. And also, even after you broke up, you might still not be completely over someone. And I feel like that's an interesting premise that I haven't seen in a book so far. I haven't read that yet. Yeah, I'm really curious. I'm putting on a lot of bronzer today, but just because it's a cinnamon girl makeup, right? So we need to be a bit more tanned. And the next book I want to talk about is The Good Part by Sophie Cousins, and it's gonna come out on November 7th. Who would have thought? Literally. It's another romance book, of course. What else? But it sounds very cute too, not gonna lie. At 26, Lucy Young is tired. Tired of fetching coffees for senior TV producers, tired of going on disastrous dates, and definitely tired of living in a damn flat share with flatmates who never buy toilet roll. Doesn't sound so good, no. She could quit her job for a better living, but she's not ready to give up on her dreams. Not yet. After another diabolical date lands her in a sunstorm and no money for bus fare, Lucy finds herself seeking shelter in a tiny shop, where she stumbles upon a curious washing machine. I said washing machine, didn't I? It's a wishing machine. There's a difference. It's a wishing machine. It could have been a washing machine too, right? Who knows? Pushing her last coin into the slot, Lucy closes her eyes and wishes with everything she's got. Please, let me skip to the good part of my life. When she wakes up the next morning to a handsome man, a ring on her finger, a high-powered job, and storybook perfect little boy and baby girl, Lucy can't believe this is real. Especially when she looks in the mirror and staring back is her own 40-something face. Has she really skipped ahead to the future she's always wanted, or has she simply forgotten a huge chunk of her life? And as Lucy begins to embrace this new life and new relationships, she will have to ask herself, can she go back, and if so, does she want to? This sounds so fun. This is right up my alley. I just read 7 Year Slip, and that's also about a time traveling story, so I'm all here for it. I'm all here for it. This just sounds so good. I feel like this is gonna have a beautiful messaging. I'm also curious, did she forget a huge chunk of her life? Yes, but also is it just an illusion? And if she's gonna go back, will it really happen? Can she be certain that this is gonna happen? Or is it, you know, this is just intriguing to me. I'm gonna put on some fake lashes as well, but I do really like the color combination so far. I feel like this looks cute, right? What do you guys think? Cinnamon girl, I'm all here for it. I love my cinnamon recently. I could eat cinnamon everything right now. It's always in the winter and fall that I just love cinnamon. What can I do? What can I do? The next book I'm gonna tell you about sounds really, really interesting, but guess what? It's also coming out on the 7th. Really losing it. I was looking through all the different dates and I was like, it cannot be, right? It cannot be that everything comes out on the 7th. Now it's odd if a book is not coming out on the 7th, because it would be kind of stupid not to bring it out on the 7th then, right? Like just push them out all at the same time. Actually, I hate when books come out very late in the month, especially if it's a continuation of a series. I just want to have it on the 1st of the month already. Like, give it to me right away, you know? That's what she said. Okay, but the next book is called Rom Con by Devin Daniels, and as you can already guess, it's Rom Con. Who's surprised? Not me. It sounds really good. And it says, a modern battle of the sexes about a journalist who hatches an elaborate plan to take down her industry adversary, from the author of Meet You in the Middle. Since I've started reading Emily Henry, I just love all things like writers, journalists, just the entire world is just so interesting to me. Already love that. Time to put on some eyelashes now. After a particularly brutal breakup, Cassidy Sutton has had it with dating. I'm really wondering what it is with all these names and if they make them intentionally hard to pronounce. So when her grandmother gives her a 1950s dating guide entitled 125 Tips to Hook a Husband, love this, she decides to turn the retro advice into an ironic what not to do article for Siren, the popular online women's publication she writes for. And who better to secretly test the old-fashioned tips on than Jack Bradford, chauvinistic creator of rival men's site Brawler. She will write an article that will entertain female readers everywhere and embarrass their sexist nemesis at the same time. 2 birds, 1 stone. But her perfect plan soon proves to be anything but. Those vintage courtship tips Cassidy was so quick to poke fun at, they actually seem to work, calling her most closely held beliefs into question. Even worse, Jack isn't falling for any of her tricks, and it's not long before their fake relationship starts to feel like the realest one of her life. As her cat and mouse game starts to spiral out of control, Cassidy has to decide if she's playing to win or if she's willing to lose it all for love. Why does this sound so good? I'm like, I love the 125 tips to hook a husband. It sounds iconic, literally iconic. And that she just wants to get back at him. I'm here for it. I feel like I should really tan my chest. My arms are like the color of my face. It never matches. That's just what it is. But at least it matches the rest of my body. But let's talk about the continuation of series to wrap this video up. So first of all, there's obviously Iron Flame coming out, but we already talked about that one. And then there's from the Lightlark series, the second part coming out called Nightbane. Also on November 7th. All of these ones that I'm going to tell you now are coming out on November 7th, besides one. So just so you know, I'm just not going to say it anymore because, yeah, self-explanatory. The next continuation of a series is The Way I Am Now, and it's the series of The Way I Used to Be. Haven't read it yet, but yeah, here's the cover. Maybe you've read it, so you can anticipate the second part. Then there's Never Wager with a Wallflower of the Merriwell Sisters series. A Power Unbound from the Last Binding series. It's the 3rd part. Oh, and Merriwell Sisters, also the 3rd part. And coming out on November 28th, the only book coming out late in the month, is A Demon's Guide to Wooing a Witch, and it's the Glimmerfall series, the 2nd part. I've seen the 1st part already around, and I've heard a lot of people saying good things about it, so I'm intrigued, but I mean, I don't know a lot, so I haven't read it. But if you've liked the 1st one, the 2nd one is gonna come out soon. This was it with today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry that the fridge is making noises again, but I just cannot turn it off, so that's just what it is by now. Here's the cinnamon makeup. I hope you liked this video. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel to not miss out on any new uploads. I'm so grateful that you watched so far and to have you on this channel. This is a new format that I haven't done yet on my channel, so let me know if you like it down below in the comments, because I really need to know, and then I'm gonna do it every month from now on. Have a beautiful and blissful day, and I'm gonna see you next week. Bye!